everyone, this is Cliff and welcome to another For Honor, a story analysis. Today we're going into Chapter 1, Part 5, the second to last part in the night story, Sabotage. And guys, I'm going to go ahead and tell you right now, this is going to be a dry one. I'm going to try to make it interesting for you guys though, because what I'm going to do while we go through this is I'm going to answer some commonly asked questions by you guys that I've been seeing pop up in the comments, and just discuss and debunk a few myths that we've heard about knights, Vikings, and samurai. And I'll even give you a little bit of my opinion on the actual state of these three warriors and how things would actually go in a real fight. So I'm going to try to breeze through this as quick as I can and get to the real meat of the knight stuff. But just know that I'm going to try to keep this as entertaining as I can.
We needed to reach the fortress at Sverngard before the Vikings had a chance to respond. But at the great cliff that splits the valley in half, we found our way forward blocked. Fortunately, we had a peacekeeper, Mercy, among our ranks.
Alright, so we're going to be playing as Mercy the Peacekeeper.
Our army needed passage. The Warborn can be...
Oh my god. Okay, I'm sorry guys. I know that I did this with holding cross, but was that an elevator? Oh boy. Okay, I won't say anything about it. Alright, I'm done. I'm done with that. Alright, moving on. Okay, so first thing that I get a lot of questions about is I get questions like, do you think that the Wu Lin will get a DLC story mode? And my honest to God answer to that is no, I do not. I know that's disappointing, but here's the reason why I say that. For Honor wasn't originally going to have a story mode in the first place. Shocking? Well, I'll explain in a minute.
The Viking tribes all have different customs. These look to be Warborn offerings, probably for strength in war.
Yep, okay, so yeah, For Honor was never meant to have a story mode. They added it last minute when the beta was released and there wasn't one, so they said, hey, isn't there a story mode? So they quickly threw one together.
Holden should never have sent those scouts ahead. He should have sent me first. Why didn't I say anything?
But yeah, totally. It was not meant to be a story mode, but they added one. And that's why a lot of people got a little disappointed in the story mode. They're like, oh, this isn't a good story mode. Y'all didn't do it very well. And my honest to God response to that is, this story mode's okay, guys. It really is okay. I think that they did a few questionable things, and it could have been a lot better. Like, when you really look at characters like Apollyon, when you look at characters like Holden and Mercy, you see potential for a good story here, it's just not realized. It's good for what it is, but could have been better, I think. Hiya! But anyway, so why do I think there won't be a Wu Lin story mode? Well, simply because there wasn't supposed to be a normal For Honor story mode. They added it because the fans asked for it, and it's a good tutorial mode. But there wouldn't be any real meaning behind a Wu Lin story mode. Plus, the way the devs have been saying it, each season is supposed to be basically going into detail about a overall underlying story, like Horikos arriving, Apollyon's will being brought out, the Wu Lin invading. There's not going to be another campaign mode because they're just not going to see the need to add one. For Honor is a multiplayer game first and foremost, and I think that's the way it should and will stay. Do I think it'd be cool to have a Wu Lin DLC mode? Oh, absolutely. I think it'd be very cool. I'm even writing a story on my DA page where I talk about a story mode that would be very interesting, how the Wu Lin came in. If you want to read it, I'll leave a link in the description.
They docked their boats there, so there was a path to the top. I was sure of it.
The volcano's cloud has withered this place.
Soldiers cry and cringe and rage when they see their friends hanged. Sometimes I pretend to share in their grief. Other times, I just wish that I did. The volcano in Ashfeld gave Valkenheim 2 years of frozen rivers. We were there to take advantage of their disaster.
Service is life.
So yeah, I'm going to avoid some of these fights because they're just not necessary. Another question that I was asked was, I did a video where I talked about what possible factions there could be, and I was asked to exposit on the idea that, oh, why isn't there an Aztec faction? I'll say it again. I think it'd be cool to have a Native American or Mesoamerican faction. I just don't know if there's enough weapons and stuff to add that would be unique or different. Think about it. If we already have the shaman who has a hatchet and dagger, right? Let's say we added a Native American who also has a hatchet and dagger. What does that bring different? How would they fight different? What would be their methodology of battle that would be different or unique to them? That's the reason I press exit out on that. Obsidian weapons are cool. I think that's a cool idea, like a maquitl. Some of you guys know what a maquitl is. It's like an obsidian club. Like you get a stick and you a long club and you put obsidian shards on either side of it to make it into this almost buzzsaw like weapon. That'd be a great weapon, and I could see a lot of things done with it. But that's one hero. What are the others? What else could we add? That's my question. You need to have more than that to build a faction. And I'd like to, and I'm not dissing the idea, I'm just saying, what are some other ideas we could add? I think that's my question.
Like us, most of the Vikings don't even know their own history. These are their ancestral lands, lost a millennium ago. They returned from across the sea and reclaimed them.
So another question that was asked, and I think it's been asked a lot, is who would win in an actual fight? A knight, a samurai, or a Viking? And guys, I'm going to be real honest, that's not an easy question to answer because there are a lot of mitigating factors, like their skill. What era are we talking about? Like, because the beginning era of the knights would not be a fair comparison to the heyday of the samurai. Matt Pat did a video where he tried to compare and talk about who would actually win if you made all things equal and had them for what they were when they were sharing the same time period in the 11th century. But you can watch Shadiversity, Metatron, and Skullgrim's videos talking about what he got wrong in those videos. And here's my 2 cents. If you really wanted me to know, if you had to twist my arm and make me scream out who I think would win, I gotta give it to the knights. And this isn't because I have knight ancestors, which I do, which is really cool. I was asked, how do you know all this stuff? Well, I got an Asian studies minor, and I've always loved Asian history and culture, which is where I get my information on Japan and China. And I found out at a young age that I have ancestors who were knights, the Knights of Malta. And I found out that I also have ancestry to a Scottish clan, the Clan Corbett, which is really cool. And so I decided I really wanted to learn about medieval age weapons and armor and that kind of thing. So I did a lot of research on this stuff growing up. So that's why I have all this information locked in my noggin, because I just love this stuff. I love medieval history. I love medieval weapons and armor. I love medieval warfare. It's so fascinating to me. So from my perspective on who would be better, I got to give it to the knights. Throughout history, the knights have had superior technology in terms of weaponry. They have superior armor, the steel plate mail armor, which I think is just some of the best armor you could get in the medieval era. The Vikings genuinely did not have that. They had good armor. Like, don't take the armor you see in For Honor as testament to what the Vikings were limited to. They had more than that. And we could do a whole video talking about what kind of Viking armor and weapons they had, but why watch me? I'll link you to Skullgrim's channel, where he's a Viking weapons and arms expert. He could give you far more information than I could. Yep, he's dead. But yeah, but I don't think the Viking weapons and arms ever amounted to what the knights did. In fact, the Vikings eventually became knights. Yeah, the Norman knights were once Vikings, or at least Nordic, so it's very interesting when you
love to feast. Maybe I could find a way to shut them. Getting inside was easier.
So yeah, when you really analyze the historical Vikings and knights, you find that the knights just outdo them. I'm afraid. Vikings very rarely would defeat a knight in actual combat, because I think the knights were more well armored and had better weaponry. I'm not dissing the Vikings, you understand. I'm just saying from a historical standpoint, the knights were superior. And as for the samurai, the samurai would pose a bit of a challenge to them, because both were mounted warriors. They both had cavalry and horse-drawn horse fighting. But there's a difference, and it mainly being armor. the samurai had, at their best, lacquer steel armor, which is good. It is good. But I don't think it stands up as well to the plate armor over chainmail armor over halberd armor. The knights very much protected themselves from almost any kind of weapon, swords, axes, clubs. And while the samurai had decent armor as well, I don't think it was as good as the knights. I think the knights would just hold up longer under constant testing. Guys, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that it's an obvious, easy choice. That's not what I'm saying. When you really analyze these warriors, there's so many mitigating factors like health, diet, age. All these things matter when talking about this kind of fight. I don't want to just narrow it down to, oh, well, this hero is just so much better than this one. This sword is just so superior to this one. It's so obvious who would win. That's not it at all. There's a lot that go into it. This isn't Deadliest Warrior where I just pick an obvious winner. I think the Knights have the most advantages in this fight. I think the Knights have the most going for them. But that's where I stand on that one. Hello.
Their machinery was far beyond what
I should pull that one, I think.
No finish.
Their machinery was far beyond what I had expected to find. Since the last time I'd been through, they had uncovered a new source of lore. Or perhaps just a very clever engineer.
Yeah, I'm glad that Mercy's pointing out what I wanted to point out, that this is so not what the Vikings would have at their disposal. Their technology was not this advanced. Cool though, I mean, very cool.
If I understood this contraption,
I love that they have a makeshift elevator.
Now should prove exciting.
So guys, I want you to understand, I'm not here to diss on either faction. I think all are amazing. I think all are really cool factions. I think all bring something amazing to the table. And do I really think that one is superior to the other in every way? No. I think that the samurai bring a lot to the table. I think the Vikings bring a lot to the table. I think the knights bring a lot to the table. But I just believe that when it came down to historical truth, the knights just had more going for them. They had more advantages. So that's where I stand on that. But let's go ahead and wrap up this level, shall we? Later. Wait, something ain't right here. Oh, wow. And look at that, they can get over now.
Path's clear. Impressive.
Don't encourage her.
I just wanted to remind you that I'm Apollyon and I am evil. Thank you. Okay guys, that wraps it up for this video. Again, not a lot to talk about, and I hate that. I really did want to make this more interesting about what she was seeing, but nothing really new to talk about there. I hope I answered some of y'all's questions. If y'all have more questions, please leave them in the comments so that I can answer them later in another video like this. And also tell me what kind of stuff you want to see from the For Honor analysis videos in the future, because eventually, I'll be done with this series on the story, and I know that I've got an Apollyon video to make, and I'm going to do a series on the Crusades, but while I get my facts together on the Crusades and get my sources together, what else would y'all like to see me talk about? What else would you like to see in the For Honor analysis? Or, since you know that I play other games like Dead by Daylight, would you like me to see me do videos on that? What do y'all want to see from this channel? Because I'm really trying to get this channel to grow and bring in an audience. I'd really like to see it grow and see you guys enjoy what I produce, because, hey, I love making this stuff. I love making videos. It's very entertaining, and as long as y'all are entertained and happy with what I'm releasing, I'm entertained and happy with what I'm releasing. So, with all that said, look forward to next time when we go into the final chapter of the Knight faction story, which is, when it comes up, Wolves Among Sheep. Okay, gonna be awesome. Can't wait to see you there, guys. I will see you in the next For Honor analysis video. Take care.